Divine GPS activated. You've been off course. Open this now to realign with the life you were meant to live. My cherished soul, a surge in the spirit is moving right now, and Archangel Michael has stepped forward with urgency. His voice is firm, radiant, unmistakable. The Divine GPS has been activated over your life, and this message titled Divine GPS Activated. You've been off course. Open this now to realign with the life you were meant to live. Is not arriving by accident. You were guided here because your spirit has been drifting too far from the path written for you long before you were born, and heaven cannot afford to let you stay lost any longer. He shows me an image. You standing at a crossroads, confused, carrying weights that were never yours to hold. Every turn you made recently felt like another detour, another delay, another silent disappointment. But hear this with your heart, not your ears. You were never off track. You were being rerouted. Michael whispers, the path of destiny is never broken, only adjusted. Every storm you walked through, every wrong person you trusted, every closed door you questioned, all of it is now realigning in divine order. Your soul is being pulled back into the life you were meant to live, the life your future self has already seen. A major shift is upon you. Michael is revealing that the reason you felt stuck is because your inner compass was clouded by old fears and voices that were never from God. Something or someone made you doubt your worth, your calling, your direction. But heaven has intervened. The fog is dissolving. A supernatural recalibration is happening inside you. There is a reason this message found you at this exact moment. Not earlier, not later, now. Because now is when the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Michael says, Beloved, the road you thought was gone is still open. It is waiting for your courage to step onto it again. The next few days will reveal signs, precise, timely, impossible to dismiss confirmations that your steps are being guided. Expect sudden clarity. Expect unexpected alignment. Expect conversations, dreams, nudges, opportunities that feel like déjà vu. That's heaven showing you the original blueprint of your life. But listen closely, you must release what has been draining your inner guidance. There is one distraction, one habit, one person, or one fear that has been quietly pulling you off course. When Michael shines his sword of truth, he exposes the invisible things that block your spiritual navigation. You are entering a season where anything misaligned will fall away fast, either gently or abruptly, but always divinely. You're not losing. You're being corrected. And the correction is a blessing, not a punishment. Michael is clearing the spiritual interference around you. He is restoring the sensitivity of your intuition, sharpening your awareness, and reactivating the divine instinct you were born with, the instinct that always knew which path held your greatest becoming. You will soon recognize the difference between who feeds your spirit and who drains it, what pulls you forward and what pulls you back, which door is divine and which is distraction. As this shift begins, you might feel emotions rising unexpectedly, old memories resurfacing, sudden realizations, unexplained heaviness. Don't fear this. It is your spirit cleaning the lenses through which you see your journey. Michael stands beside you, guiding every step, ensuring you do not wander again into paths meant to teach you, but not meant to keep you. He wants you to hear this with full conviction. Your destiny is calling you loudly again. You will not miss it this time. Your divine GPS is not just a metaphor. It is a spiritual mechanism inside you awakening from dormancy. Every part of your being is being pulled back into alignment with heaven's design for your life. You will feel this realignment mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. Something huge is about to unfold. Stay tuned. Stay attentive. The next revelation will complete the picture Michael is showing you. Before you move away, take a breath and let this settle deeply in your spirit. The transformation has already begun. Type "I am realigning" in the comments if your spirit feels this awakening. Blessing code 1444 is now unfolding over your path. And hold steady, the next unfolding will reveal why your detours were secretly preparing you for the most accurate alignment of your life. Dearest one, there is a trembling in the spirit realm as Archangel Michael steps closer to you, his presence steady, protective, and unwavering. He is showing me a moment in your life, a moment you barely noticed, where a small choice shifted your entire direction without you realizing it. Not a dramatic mistake, not a loud rebellion, just a quiet turning of the heart. That moment became the seed of the detour you've been living on, and heaven has brought you here so Michael can finally uncover the deeper layer you were never able to see on your own. You have not been off course because you are weak, but because your sensitivity was dulled by constant noise. What you called confusion was actually spiritual static. And now, heaven is cleansing it. Michael reveals that your soul has been longing for clarity far longer than your mind has been aware of. Your body felt it first through restlessness, through sudden tiredness, through feeling out of place even in familiar environments. Your emotions felt it through waves you couldn't explain, moments of frustration that appeared out of nowhere, and seasons where nothing satisfied you the way it used to. But your spirit felt it the strongest. A quiet ache, a holy discomfort, a gentle pressure reminding you that the life you were living was too small for the destiny written in light above your name. Heaven has waited for the exact second when your heart was receptive enough to hear the truth, without running from it. That moment is now. Michael stands beside you not to judge, but to reveal. He says, "Beloved, your path did not disappear. You only stopped looking in the direction where heaven was pointing." And with that, he shows a vision of a narrow road glowing beneath your feet, a road that begins faintly, but becomes brighter with every step you take toward alignment. Everything about this season is about restoration of direction. This is not random inspiration. This is divine intervention. There is a specific part of your journey that has been misaligned, and Michael is bringing light to it gently. It may be a relationship that drains the fire inside you, or a dream you abandoned because of fear, or an environment that stifles your spirit, or a mindset you picked up from someone else's pain. You have been carrying something that never belonged to you. Michael shows you holding it out of love, or survival, or habit, but not out of divine assignment. And now that weight is being lifted. The moment you let it go, your inner compass will flicker back to life with power. This realignment is not only spiritual, but also practical. Your days are about to change. Your thoughts will sharpen. Your intuition will strengthen rapidly. Your nights will bring dreams that guide you. Connections that once felt foggy will suddenly become transparent. You will know exactly who is meant to walk with you and who is not. You will feel an inner pull toward new decisions, new routines, new environments that match the destiny you were designed for. This is heaven orchestrating a rescue, a recalibration, a return. But listen closely. One of the most powerful signs that you are being realigned is that your desires will shift. You will start wanting things that the old version of you never had the courage to reach for. You will feel a boldness, a rising confidence, a gentle but fierce determination that seems to come from nowhere. But it is not from nowhere. It is from the part of you that never died, only waited. Michael says, the true you is awakening. The path is awakening. The purpose is awakening. Everything within you is being activated for the life you were meant to live. There will also be moments of discomfort during this realignment, moments where the familiar feels lifeless and the new feels unsteady. Do not fear this. It is the sign that heaven has taken the steering wheel. The misalignment is breaking. The fog is falling away. The detour is ending. You are transitioning from wandering to walking with divine intention. Every step you take now will echo with purpose. Every decision will carry weight. Every thought will hold direction. You are being guided in ways you cannot yet see, but will soon understand. Michael wants you to trust the shifts happening inside you, even when they feel strange. Your soul recognizes the path long before your mind does. The alignment may begin subtly, but the results will be unmistakable. Suddenly, the right opportunities will come. Suddenly, clarity will strike. Suddenly, you will feel like yourself again. Not the version shaped by disappointment, but the version shaped by destiny. Stay close, beloved. The revelation that comes next will uncover the very core of why your life felt paused and why heaven refused to let you settle. Before closing your eyes tonight, whisper a simple prayer of surrender. It will unlock what Michael has been preparing to release into your life. Before you continue, hold still for just a moment. What comes ahead will reveal the deepest truth behind your detour, and you will want to hear every word. Type "I am returning to my path" in the comments if this resonates in your spirit. Blessing code 2299 is now released over your direction. My radiant one, there is a sacred urgency in the atmosphere as Archangel Michael steps forward again, his presence sharper, brighter, and more focused than before. The realignment you have stepped into is now accelerating, and heaven is opening a deeper layer of the message titled Divine GPS Activated. You've been off course. Open this now to realign with the life you were meant to live. In this moment, Michael is not simply guiding you. He is confronting the very force that pushed you off course in the first place. There was a moment you silenced your inner voice because someone else's voice felt louder. You trusted their words more than your own spiritual instinct, and that moment unknowingly redirected you. Now heaven is correcting that misdirection with divine precision. Michael shows an image of you standing in front of a giant map, except the map is blank except for one bright, glowing line. That line represents the path you were always meant to walk. But scattered around you are dozens of faint, gray paths representing choices influenced by fear, guilt, impatience, or emotional weight. These gray lines never belonged to you. They were illusions, tempting you because they seemed safer or familiar. Michael says, beloved, destiny may bend, but it never breaks. The true path was never erased. It was simply overshadowed by the noise of the world. Now that noise is being silenced. There is something heaven wants to reveal with gentle clarity. You were never unworthy of the life meant for you. You simply forgot the authority inside you. You forgot the anointing that was placed on your name before you took your first breath. You forgot the divine intelligence woven into your spirit. You forgot the quiet certainty that rises when you walk in truth. This forgetting is what made the detour possible. But now the remembering has begun. Michael is ushering you into a season where your spiritual senses will sharpen dramatically. You will notice things you previously overlooked. You will discern people's motives with surprising ease. You will sense red flags earlier. You will feel divine confirmation stronger. You will recognize alignment as soon as it appears. This is the work of the divine GPS activating fully within you. Heaven is recalibrating your inner navigation system so precisely that you will no longer second-guess the nudges that come from above. But the most powerful shift is happening inside your identity. There is a version of you that life tried to bury. A version that was once bold, trusting, intuitive, driven by clarity and conviction. That version is reawakening. Michael says, you are not being rebuilt. You are being restored. There is a profound difference. To rebuild is to start over. To restore is to reveal what was always there. Heaven is revealing you to yourself again. As this restoration unfolds, old weights will break off quickly. Relationships that once felt comfortable will begin to feel limiting. Routines that once felt normal will feel suffocating. Environments that once felt familiar will feel too small for the person you are becoming. Do not resist these shifts. They are signs that heaven is clearing the debris from your path. The divine GPS can only guide you clearly when your life is free from the interference of what no longer matches your destiny. There is someone in your life whose influence has been subtly pulling you away from your divine direction. Not always intentionally, but consistently. You have felt spiritually drained around them. You have felt yourself shrinking, second-guessing, or downplaying your light in their presence. Michael is revealing that this connection was one of the primary sources of your detour. Heaven is now gently repositioning your heart so you can see this without guilt or fear. It is time to reclaim the authority of your path. Your destiny requires courage now. Not dramatic courage, but quiet, consistent, spiritual courage. The courage to choose clarity over convenience. The courage to say no to what drains you. The courage to trust the divine instinct rising again. The courage to walk away from what no longer grows with you. These choices will not only realign you, they will accelerate you. Michael also reveals that there is an opportunity approaching you soon. It will arrive subtly at first, disguised as something ordinary, but your spirit will feel an undeniable pull toward it. This opportunity is a divine marker on your restored path. It carries the energy of timing, destiny, and long-awaited unfolding. When it appears, you will not need to force anything. Alignment does not require pushing. It requires recognizing. You may feel emotions rising as your spirit processes this realignment. Old memories may resurface, not to haunt you, but to release you. Unexpected tears, temporary heaviness, sudden clarity, or moments of deep stillness may come. But all of it is holy work. All of it is heaven recalibrating you. You are being tuned to the frequency of your divine assignment again. Before you move further, pause. Breathe. Let this truth settle. Because the next message will reveal what heaven placed on your path that you could not see during your detour. What comes next will expose the reason the enemy fought your direction so intensely. What comes next will uncover what heaven is preparing to restore in your life with speed. Hold steady, beloved. The revelation ahead carries weight you cannot afford to miss. Type "My path is awakening" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 3207 is released over your steps. Now spread this message so it reaches the souls who need realignment. Do not hesitate to like, share, comment, hype this message, and subscribe so this divine work keeps flowing to those who are drifting silently. As the divine GPS awakens your path, let me speak this gently but powerfully into your spirit. When you support this mission, you are not helping a channel. You are helping the lost find their way back to the life heaven wrote for them. Every seed you sow becomes light for someone wandering in darkness. The scripture says, "Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed," and today God is speaking that verse directly to you as a living word. I feel led to tell you this in first person. Your support strengthens the very bridge heaven is using to reach souls who feel forgotten. Just as this message reached you in your moment of need, Your generosity becomes part of the divine guidance reaching others. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic act of alignment, a response to the stirring in your spirit. Every giver carries a mantle of acceleration, and heaven never overlooks a hand that fuels its work. Step into this with boldness and activate your blessing. The super thanks, membership, and the PayPal link in the description are open for those called to stand with us. My awakened soul, the atmosphere around you is shifting again as Archangel Michael draws even closer, his presence wrapping around you like a shield made of ancient fire, an unbreakable truth. The path you are stepping onto is no longer faint. It is no longer a whisper. It is becoming visible, illuminated, unmistakably divine. The realignment that began in the earlier moments of this message is now entering its second phase, and this phase is far more intense, far more revealing, far more transformative. You are not just finding your direction, you are discovering the very reason heaven refused to let your spirit settle in the places where you once tried to make a home. Michael begins to reveal something deeply personal about your journey. There were dreams you abandoned, not because you lacked ability, but because you lacked support at a crucial moment. There were visions you held silently in your heart because speaking them aloud felt risky, vulnerable, or too sacred. There were desires you suppressed because someone convinced you they were unrealistic, impractical, or beyond your reach. These voices infiltrated your inner compass slowly, subtly, and eventually you began to mistake their doubts for your own truth. This is what nudged you off your divine course. Not rebellion, but misplaced trust. Heaven wants you to know this with absolute clarity. Not a single dream planted in your spirit was random. Those desires were coordinates, spiritual markers meant to guide your steps toward the life you were created to embody. When you ignored them, your inner GPS dimmed. But when you feel these desires rising again, even softly, even quietly, even after years of silence, that is heaven reminding you of who you are. Michael says, your destiny has been knocking, not with force, but with persistence. It is time to answer. There is a powerful revelation Michael is releasing right now. Your detour did not delay your destiny. It developed your discernment. There are things you can see now that you were blind to before. There are patterns you can identify instantly. There are warnings you can sense before anything happens. There are people you can read with startling clarity. None of this existed in you before the detour. What felt like a season of confusion was actually the sharpening of your spiritual instincts. Heaven was training you without your awareness. Now, with your instincts awakened, your spirit is more aligned than it has ever been. You can no longer tolerate environments that shrink you. You can no longer entertain conversations that drain you. You can no longer pretend to be small to keep others comfortable. This is not you being difficult. This is you coming back into alignment. When a soul returns to its divine blueprint, anything or anyone that does not match that blueprint becomes uncomfortable, even unbearable. This is why certain connections have been fading effortlessly. This is why certain habits feel unnatural. This is why your spirit feels restless in places where you once fit easily. It is simply alignment exposing misalignment. Michael reveals something deeper. Someone in your past spoke words over you that created a hidden internal detour. Their words settled into your identity, shaping the way you saw yourself, limiting the way you dreamed, and influencing the choices you made without realizing it. These words became a quiet barrier, a spiritual speed limit you never agreed to, but still obeyed unconsciously. Heaven is now breaking those words off your spirit, dissolving their influence, and replacing them with divine truth. You are being rewritten from the inside out. Not only is this inner recalibration happening, but heaven is also orchestrating external alignment for you. Expect sudden shifts in your relationships. Expect clarity about which connections grow you and which ones keep you stagnant. Expect to feel pulled toward new spaces where your gifts, your voice, and your presence are not only welcome but necessary. Expect divine timing to begin working in your favor again. The stagnation you experienced was not failure. It was a sacred pause designed to protect your path until the right doors were ready. Michael says, you are stepping into a season where the right people can finally find you. The reason certain things did not work out before is because they were not aligned with the version of you that was required to fulfill your purpose. But now you are becoming that version. Now heaven can trust you with opportunities that once would have overwhelmed you. Now your spirit is strong enough to carry what your heart has always desired. There is also a powerful emotional shift happening within you. Old wounds that once held you back are loosening their grip. You are not the same person who was hurt. You are not the same person who doubted. You are not the same person who settled. This emergence is what heaven has been waiting for. Your healing is not only personal, it is directional. Every layer of healing restores a piece of your internal compass. Every breakthrough sharpens your spiritual navigation. Every release aligns you more closely with your divine path. Michael urges you to be attentive in the coming days. There will be a moment of divine confirmation, so precise that you will have no doubt heaven is guiding you. It may come as a conversation, a sudden realization, a dream, an unexpected opportunity, or even a feeling that hits you so strongly it shifts the entire atmosphere around you. When it comes, recognize it as evidence that your path is no longer dim. It is illuminated with purpose again. Now pause. Do not rush past this. Something profoundly sacred is being prepared for the next unfolding. The revelation ahead will reveal what heaven has kept protected for you during the years you thought were wasted. Type "I am walking in alignment" in the comments if your spirit recognizes this shift. Blessing code 4411 is now active over your path. My steadfast soul, there is a deeper stirring taking place around you now as Archangel Michael steps forward with a level of intensity that signals a major spiritual unveiling. You have walked through the first layers of alignment, but what unfolds now is the revelation of what was hidden behind the detour, what heaven shielded, protected, preserved, and guarded fiercely while you wandered through confusion. Michael's presence is fierce, yet compassionate as he prepares to show you the truth behind the unseen warfare that surrounded your journey. This moment is not meant to overwhelm you, but to empower you. Heaven wants you to understand why your path became tangled, why certain seasons felt like resistance from every side, and why your spirit could never fully settle even when your mind tried to convince you that you were fine. Michael begins to reveal that your detour was not simply a product of human choices or emotional influences. It was also spiritual. There were forces that recognized your potential long before you did. They saw the light on your path. They saw the authority hidden within you. They saw the impact your alignment would have on others. And because of that, they attempted to cloud your vision, distort your self-perception, and wear down your confidence. But what they did not know was that heaven had already fortified you. Even in moments where you felt weak, heaven was secretly reinforcing your spirit, preventing you from drifting too far, preventing you from losing yourself entirely, preventing you from stepping into traps that would have caused long-term spiritual damage. Michael shows a vision of you walking through a foggy landscape, with dark shapes lurking in the distance. They could observe you, they could whisper, they could influence the atmosphere, but they could not touch you. You were protected by an invisible barrier of light, a sphere of divine fire surrounding your path even when you were unaware of it. Your detour was challenging, yes, but it was never dangerous in the way it could have been. Heaven allowed you to wander only within the boundaries of what your spirit could survive. Nothing beyond that was permitted. Michael speaks with authority. What you thought was ruin was actually preservation. The relationships that fell apart were not failures, they were shields. The opportunities that collapsed were not punishments, they were protections. The delays that frustrated you were not setbacks, they were divine rerouting. Heaven saw what you could not. Heaven heard conversations you never knew about. Heaven discerned intentions masked behind smiles. Heaven recognized dangers that appeared disguised as blessings. This is why certain things never worked, no matter how much effort you gave. It was not incompetence. It was intervention. Your path required authenticity. Your destiny required purity of heart. Your calling required a certain level of spiritual maturity. And so, heaven allowed moments of discomfort to push you inward, to sharpen your discernment, to strengthen your resilience, and to awaken the deeper layers of your identity. Without the detour, you would not have learned to listen to the quiet voice inside you. Without the wandering, you would not have developed the spiritual instincts necessary for the next chapter. Without the confusion, you would not have been prepared for clarity. Michael now shifts his focus to the transformation happening within you. You are not simply returning to your original path. You are returning wiser, stronger, clearer, and more attuned to heaven's voice. This new alignment is not fragile like the old one. It is rooted. It is anchored. It is fortified through experience. You will not be easily misled again. You will not be easily shaken. You will not be easily talked out of your purpose. Your discernment is now too sharp. Your spirit is now too awake. Your heart is now too aligned with divine truth. In this new phase of your journey, heaven is preparing to reveal something else, a divine appointment that was delayed but never canceled. There is a connection, an opportunity, a door, or a mission that was written for you long ago. The detour slowed your arrival, but it did not erase your destination. Heaven has been guarding this appointment like a treasure buried under time. When the alignment becomes fully activated within you, this appointment will surface effortlessly, without striving, without struggle, without exhaustion. It will feel like destiny unfolding with ease. You may already feel the stirring in your spirit, a sense that something is approaching, something meaningful, something transformative. You may feel moments of anticipation without understanding why. You may experience dreams that feel symbolic or prophetic. You may feel your spirit being pulled gently towards something you cannot fully name yet. This is the divine GPS guiding you again, preparing you for what has been waiting for your arrival. As you move forward, Michael urges you to trust the shift happening inside you. If you feel called to change something in your routine, follow it. If you feel drawn to a new environment, explore it. If you feel instinctively aware that someone should no longer have access to your energy, honor it. Your spirit is no longer sleeping. Your path is no longer dim. Your direction is no longer confused. You are coming into alignment so intensely that even your emotions will begin to reflect the clarity heaven is releasing over you. And now, pause. Something sacred is preparing to unfold. The next message will reveal the hidden assignment planted along your path, an assignment you may have sensed, but never fully understood. Do not move away from this moment. You are stepping closer to the heart of your destiny. Type "I am ready for divine revelation" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 5580 is now released over your journey. My rising soul, there is a powerful shift taking place as Archangel Michael draws nearer with a presence that feels heavier, holier, and more urgent than anything you have felt so far. The air around you carries a sense of revelation, that has been waiting for the perfect moment to be released. This is that moment. You are stepping into the deepest layer of this divine message titled Divine GPS Activated. You've been off course. Open this now to realign with the life you were meant to live. What is coming now is not simply guidance. It is unveiling. It is exposure of the sacred assignment heaven planted on your path long before you understood your purpose, long before you recognized your calling, long before you possessed the strength to carry it. Michael stands behind you with a warrior's steadiness, his wings forming a barrier that blocks every old thought, every old fear, every old misdirection that once influenced your steps. You are not the same person who entered this message. Each part has awakened a layer of your spirit that was dormant, waiting silently, watching patiently for the moment you would become ready to hear what heaven has held in its chambers concerning your destiny. This next revelation is one that the old version of you would not have been able to carry without shrinking, doubting, or turning back. But now, after walking through recalibration, clarity, inner awakening, and spiritual preservation, your spirit has reached the maturity required to receive the truth. Michael begins showing a vision, one layered in symbolism and meaning. You are standing in a large, dimly lit hall filled with closed doors. For a long time, you believed these doors represented decisions you failed to make or opportunities you miss. You once looked at these doors with regret, guilt, or disappointment. But now Michael taps on one specific door, and it glows with a light so pure that the entire hall shifts around it. He says, "This door did not open before, because you were not carrying the identity required to walk through it. Now you are becoming that identity. What you thought was denial was timing. What you thought was rejection was protection. What you thought was loss was preparation. Heaven has kept something reserved for you. Something tied directly to your destiny. Something with your name spiritually etched into it. Something no detour could cancel, no delay could erase, and no darkness could steal. This assignment is not random. It is deeply connected to your spiritual wiring, your emotional patterns, your personal battles, your resilience, your compassion, and your hidden strengths. Everything you survived was shaping you into the vessel that this assignment requires. Michael begins to reveal a truth that strikes the core of your spirit, the very areas where you experience the most pain, the most confusion, the most misunderstanding, and the most emotional struggle are directly connected to the calling you are stepping into. Heaven allowed you to experience certain storms not to break you, but to equip you. You learned endurance in dark seasons. You learned intuition in uncertain seasons. You learned discernment around harmful people. You learned boundaries after betrayal. You learned wisdom through silence. These lessons were not accidents. They were tools. Heaven was crafting the blueprint of your assignment through what you endure. Your assignment is not small. It is not casual. It is not optional. It carries weight. It carries influence. It carries spiritual responsibility. You have been chosen to impact the path of others in a way that only someone who has walked through detours, darkness, and divine intervention can. This is why the enemy tried to confuse your identity. This is why your path seemed foggy at times. This is why your heart felt heavy in seasons where you could not explain the weight. You were not under attack. You were being prepared. Michael speaks firmly. Your life is not meant to be quiet. It is meant to be significant. Heaven is aligning you with the people, environments, and moments that will activate the assignment resting inside you. There will be individuals whose lives shift because of your presence. There will be conversations that spark breakthroughs. There will be opportunities that amplify your voice. There will be spaces where your clarity becomes a compass for others. You are stepping into a version of your destiny where your alignment realigns someone else. This is the ripple effect of purpose. Heaven wants you to understand something very crucial right now. The divine GPS guiding you is not only directing you toward what is meant for you, it is directing you toward the people you are meant to impact. Your assignment is interconnected. Your alignment opens alignment for others. When you rise, others rise with you. When you heal, others receive healing through you. When you step into purpose, you pull others into clarity through the glow of your example. Your destiny is bigger than your own life. Michael now reveals a second vision. You are standing on a mountaintop at sunrise, looking down at a path that winds through valleys and trials you have overcome. Each step flickers with light as if heaven is highlighting every moment you survived. Even the moments you hated. Even the moments you questioned. Even the moments you felt abandoned. Heaven is showing you that none of those moments were wasted. Each one was a spiritual coordinate. Each one guided you here. You are on the cusp of stepping into something heaven has been preparing for years. The next message will reveal the qualities heaven has awakened in you, the qualities that make you capable of fulfilling your assignment with authority and grace. Hold steady, beloved. You are closer than you realize. Type "I receive my assignment" in the comments if your spirit recognizes this message. Blessing code 6672 is now active over your purpose. My illuminated soul, there is a sacred quietness settling around you now, the kind that only appears when heaven is preparing to reveal something deeply personal, deeply transformative, and deeply tied to your destiny. Archangel Michael stands with a presence that feels both powerful and calming, as though he is preparing your spirit to receive a truth that has been waiting for years to reach you. What unfolds in this moment is not merely guidance. It is recognition. You are being shown the qualities heaven has awakened within you through every detour, every heartbreak, every moment of confusion, and every silent battle you carried when no one else understood the weight you were holding. These qualities are the spiritual tools designed to help you walk boldly into the assignment you were always meant to fulfill. Michael begins to show a vision of you standing in front of a mirror. But this mirror does not reflect your physical appearance. Instead, it reflects the parts of your spirit that have matured, strengthened, and evolved in ways you never fully acknowledge. You have underestimated the depth of your resilience. You have overlooked the courage hidden inside your quiet endurance. You have dismissed the discernment that now flows through you like instinct. You have ignored the spiritual authority that has been forming inside you each time you survived what was meant to break you. Heaven is bringing these qualities to the forefront now because they hold the key to your next chapter. The first quality being brought forward is spiritual clarity. You once doubted yourself often, questioning your intuition, hesitating before making decisions, and seeking validation from voices that did not understand your calling. But now your intuition speaks louder, clearer, and with a conviction that cannot be ignored. The detours sharpened your ability to feel truth. They taught you how to recognize spiritual misalignment instantly. They taught you how to sense danger before it appears. They taught you to listen to the inner voice that is not merely your own, but also guided by divine influence. This clarity is not accidental. It is a sign of your spiritual maturity. The second quality heaven reveals is emotional endurance. Many people see endurance as simply survival, but your endurance became transformation. You did not come out of your battles bitter. You came out wiser. You came out with compassion. You came out with understanding for others who walk through darkness. You came out with a softer heart, not a hardened one. This emotional endurance is rare, and heaven honors it. This is the strength that will allow you to carry your assignment without collapsing under pressure. This is what makes you trustworthy in the eyes of heaven. The third quality Michael highlights is your awakened discernment. This is not the same as judgment or suspicion. This is spiritual perception. You have the ability now to sense the truth behind people's words, to notice intentions without needing explanations, to identify when someone wants access to your spirit but does not respect the energy you carry. This discernment will protect your path from those who cannot walk with you into your divine assignment. It will also draw toward you the people who are aligned with your purpose, the individuals who carry light, sincerity, and divine timing. The fourth quality being revealed is your rising boldness. You may not feel bold every day, but heaven sees the fire within you. There were seasons in your past when fear controlled your decisions. You held back your voice. You kept your truth quiet. You stayed small to make others comfortable. But that version of you is dissolving. The new you is emerging with quiet courage, divine confidence, and the willingness to take steps that once terrified you. This boldness is not loud or aggressive. It is steady, grounded, and rooted in your alignment. It is the boldness of someone who finally knows who they are. The fifth quality being shown is your compassion. Not everyone carries compassion after pain. Many become guarded, hardened, or emotionally distant. But you have something rare, the ability to remain soft without being naive. You can love deeply without losing yourself. You can empathize with others without absorbing their battles. You can guide people without carrying their burdens. Heaven has shaped your compassion into a gift that heals others simply through your presence. This compassion will be a powerful part of your assignment. Michael now reveals something even more profound. These qualities were not developed randomly. They were divinely cultivated. Heaven has been shaping you for years, positioning you for a time when your path would require spiritual strength. You are stepping into a chapter where these qualities will not only support you, but also influence the lives of others. You are not meant to walk silently through life. You are meant to carry light into places where clarity is needed. You are meant to be a stabilizing presence for people who are lost. You are meant to walk in alignment that inspires others to seek their own. There is also a shift happening within your emotional landscape. The fears that once controlled you are losing their influence. The doubts that once delayed your steps are fading. The insecurities that once clouded your decisions are dissolving. You are becoming aligned emotionally in a way that strengthens your direction. You will notice yourself making choices with greater confidence, speaking truth with greater ease, and trusting your inner guidance with more certainty than ever before. Michael urges you to honor this transformation. Do not dismiss your growth. Do not downplay your progress. Do not return to the version of yourself that survived instead of lived. You are stepping into a season of purpose, clarity, and authority. Heaven has invested too much into your growth for you to shrink now. And now, my beloved soul, pause for just a moment. The next message will reveal what heaven is preparing to release into your life as a reward for your endurance and alignment. You will not want to miss what is coming. Type "I honor my awakening" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 7744 is now activated over your rising identity. My advancing soul, there is a powerful unraveling taking place within the spiritual atmosphere as Archangel Michael steps even closer, carrying a revelation that feels weightier, richer, and more divinely timed than anything you have received so far. The journey through your alignment has prepared you for this moment, and now heaven is ready to reveal what is being released into your life as a direct reward for your endurance, your obedience to the inner stirring, and your willingness to return to the path heaven wrote for you. This is the part of the message where heaven stops preparing you and begins rewarding you. Michael's presence feels like a rush of wind through your spirit, clearing out the last remnants of doubt, fear, and hesitation so you can fully receive what is meant to come next. You are entering the threshold where divine promises begin speaking louder than past pain, and spiritual compensation begins overshadowing old wounds. Michael begins by revealing that heaven has been holding something in reserve for you, something preserved specifically for the season of your realignment. He shows an image of a sealed chamber in the spirit realm, a room filled with blessings, relationships, opportunities, and directions that were intentionally withheld until you became the version of yourself capable of carrying them without self-sabotage. Nothing that belonged to you was ever lost. Nothing that was meant for you was ever given to someone else. It was stored, protected, and kept untouched until you reached the maturity, clarity, and readiness required to steward it well. Heaven does not release destiny into unprepared hands. But now you are prepared. Michael reveals that one of the first blessings being released into your life is clarity of purpose. Not the vague sense of direction you once chased, but sharp, undeniable, soul-anchoring clarity that brings peace to your decisions and direction to your steps. You will soon wake up feeling aligned with something greater than yourself, able to sense exactly where your energy belongs and where it doesn't. This clarity will flow into your choices, relationships, routines, and actions until your entire life begins reflecting your divine identity. The confusion you once battled will no longer have access to your path. Heaven is restoring mental clarity as the foundation of your next chapter. The second blessing being released is divine timing. For years, things felt delayed, postponed, or out of sync. You were moving but not progressing, trying but not breaking through, hoping but not seeing results. That season is over. When the divine GPS activates, timing accelerates. Doors open faster. Opportunities align effortlessly. Conversations fall into place. People arrive unexpectedly. You will begin to notice a supernatural rhythm guiding your days, a holy synchronicity that reveals heaven's orchestration behind the scenes. What once took years will now take moments. What once required striving will now unfold with ease. The third blessing being poured over your life is restoration of confidence. Not the surface-level confidence that comes from achievement or validation, but the deep spiritual confidence that flows from knowing who you are, who walks with you, and what you were created to accomplish. Heaven is rebuilding your confidence in a way that cannot be broken again, because it is no longer rooted in people's opinions or circumstances, but in divine truth. You will no longer shrink yourself. You will no longer silence your voice. You will no longer apologize for your strength, your insight, or your presence. You were not meant to walk small. You were meant to walk in authority. The fourth blessing being released is relational alignment. Heaven is bringing the right people into your life, people who nourish your growth, speak to your spirit, respect your boundaries, and recognize your calling. People with sincerity, loyalty, depth, and divine purpose. You will soon feel drawn to connections that awaken your potential and repelled by those that drain your soul. Some individuals will enter your life with an undeniable sense of divine timing, carrying support, clarity, or collaboration that accelerates your path. Others will quietly fade away because their chapter in your story has reached its end. This is not loss. It is divine editing. Michael now reveals that heaven is also releasing opportunities, ones that were written into your story long before your detour. These opportunities are tied to your destiny, not your comfort. They will require your courage, your authenticity, and your trust. They will stretch you, but not break you. They will elevate you, but not overwhelm you. You will recognize them by the peace they bring, the clarity they carry, and the inner pull that whispers, "This is what you were made for." These opportunities are the proof of divine orchestration returning to your path. The most profound release, however, is the restoration of your spiritual identity. You are not simply receiving blessings. You are receiving yourself, your true self, the self heaven designed, the self you abandoned in moments of pain, the self that survived every trial, the self that never stopped calling you back. Michael speaks. You are returning to your original frequency, the one heaven recognizes instantly. This restoration will cause your path to unfold in ways that feel familiar, as though you are stepping into a life you once knew but forgot. That is because your spirit recognizes your destiny long before your mind understands it. Heaven is preparing to lead you into a season of abundance, not only in material ways, but abundance of peace, abundance of clarity, abundance of alignment, abundance of spiritual wisdom, and abundance of divine opportunities. You are stepping into the part of your story where things begin to connect, where the years behind you finally make sense, and where the years ahead of you carry promise instead of fear. Before you step forward, pause. The next revelation will expose the deeper transformation heaven is preparing to ignite within your spirit, and you will not want to miss what unfolds. Type "I receive my reward" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 8821 is now released over your portion. Now lift this message higher so it reaches the ones whose spirits are silently crying out for alignment. Like, share, comment, hype this message, and subscribe so the word continues moving with power. As heaven releases blessings over your path, hear this truth spoken directly into your spirit. When you support this mission, you help awaken souls who have been wandering spiritually without direction. Every seed you sow becomes a torch of light for someone searching for the path heaven wrote for them. Scripture declares that God pours back into the hands of those who sow into his work, and today that promise is being spoken over you as a living decree. I feel led to share this in first person. Your support allows me to carry this divine guidance to those who desperately need it. This is not a simple contribution. It is a prophetic act of alignment, a response to the call within you to help others rise. Heaven remembers the hands that give to elevate its message, and it rewards with acceleration, clarity, and breakthrough. Rise into this moment and activate your blessing. Super thanks, membership, and the PayPal link in the description are open for those called to stand with this assignment. My chosen soul, there is a profound stillness unfolding in the spiritual atmosphere as Archangel Michael positions himself before you, not as a distant guardian, but as a present guide ushering you into the deepest transformation of your journey. The blessings released over your life have begun activating, but heaven is not finished. What comes next is the ignition of your inner transformation, the part where the shift moves from your circumstances into your spirit, rewriting the way you think, choose, respond, and carry yourself. This transformation is the foundation upon which every future blessing will rest. Without this inner shift, the blessings could not sustain you. But with it, nothing can uproot what heaven is establishing within you. Michael reveals that the transformation you are entering is not subtle. It is not gradual. It is not quiet. It will move through your life with undeniable clarity, touching everything that has been left unresolved or unattended. The divine GPS does not merely guide your direction. It transforms the vessel walking the path. Heaven is preparing to align you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically so you can step into the life you were designed to live without returning to old patterns, old fears, or old limitations. This is the rebirth of your inner world. He begins with the transformation of your mind. For years, you have battled thoughts that did not belong to you. Thoughts placed in your spirit through disappointment, betrayal, insecurity, or the influence of voices that carried no understanding of your divine purpose. These thoughts shaped how you saw yourself and created internal limits that heaven never placed on you. Now, the divine GPS is cleansing your mindset. You will begin to feel old beliefs breaking apart, old assumptions dissolving, and old fears losing their grip on your decisions. Your mind is entering a season of renewal. You will think clearer, see clearer, and understand yourself in ways that once felt out of reach. Heaven is shifting the foundation of your thoughts so you can build your life on truth rather than survival instincts. The transformation also reaches your emotional landscape. There have been emotions you carried far longer than your heart was designed to hold. Grief, disappointment, abandonment, hidden hurt, silent resentment, unspoken sadness. These emotions have lived inside you like old guests who never knew when to leave. But Michael is entering that space now. He is removing the emotional debris that clouded your inner compass. You will begin to feel lighter in moments without explanation. You will feel joy returning without reason. You will experience peace that does not depend on circumstances. This is the emotional realignment heaven has prepared. You will still feel deeply, but you will no longer carry what was never yours. Michael reveals another layer. Your identity is being transformed. You once saw yourself through the lens of failure, delay, insecurity, or uncertainty. But heaven always saw you as chosen, equipped, powerful, and purposeful. Now your inner identity will begin to match heaven's perspective. You will feel a new sense of confidence rising, a confidence not built on ego, but on alignment. You will walk differently, speak differently, choose differently, and live differently. You will no longer negotiate your worth or settle for roles that undermine your capacity. You will step into rooms with spiritual authority because you will finally recognize the power you carry. This transformation also touches your energy. You are entering a phase where your spiritual frequency rises so high that misaligned people will no longer be able to access you. Situations that once drained you will no longer hold relevance. Environments that lacked purpose will feel foreign. You will be drawn to peace like a magnet. You will crave alignment, clarity, and authenticity. This energetic shift is heaven recalibrating your spirit, so you can attract what matches your calling and repel what contradicts it. Michael shows a symbolic scene, you standing at the center of a circle of fire. But this fire is not destructive. It is purifying. It burns away the versions of you created by fear, shaped by trauma, or influenced by other people's expectations. When you step out of that fire, you emerge as the version of yourself heaven always intended you to be. The transformation is not changing you into someone else. It is returning you to who you were before life attempted to bury your light. Heaven is also preparing to transform your capacity. You will feel ready for more responsibility, more purpose, more influence, more alignment. Where you once felt overwhelmed, you will now feel equipped. Where you once felt unsure, you will now feel grounded. Where you once felt small, you will now feel expansive. This expansion is necessary. Your destiny requires a larger version of you, one capable of carrying the weight of divine assignment without shrinking under pressure. As this transformation settles into your being, you will begin to notice signs. Conversations that feel like confirmations. Sudden clarity that cuts through confusion. Spiritual nudges that guide your decisions. Dreams that reveal pieces of your path. Inner shifts that feel like whispers from heaven. These are not coincidences. They are evidence of the divine GPS fully activating within you. Michael urges you to honor this transformation by staying present with the changes happening inside you. Do not rush past them. Do not ignore the inner work. Do not silence the intuitive nudges rising within you. This transformation is sacred. It is the foundation upon which your next breakthroughs will rest. And now, pause. The next revelation will reveal what heaven is preparing to unlock externally as your inner world becomes fully aligned. You are stepping into a chapter you will one day look back on with awe. Type "My spirit is transforming" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 9903 is now released over your inner evolution. My awakening soul, the atmosphere surrounding you is shifting once more, deep and resonant, as Archangel Michael steps into this moment with a clarity that feels almost electric. You have walked through transformation within your mind, your emotions, your energy, and your identity, but now heaven is preparing to unlock the external manifestations that will reflect that inner shift. Everything you have endured, learned, released, and embraced has prepared you for what is about to unfold. This next phase is not subtle. It is the outward unfolding of the internal recalibration heaven has been performing within you. Michael's presence stands firm behind you, filled with a sense of anticipation, as though heaven itself has been waiting for this moment in your timeline to finally reveal what has been held back for so long. Michael begins to show a vision of your life from above, as though seen through the eyes of heaven. You stand at the center, surrounded by countless threads stretching outward into the distance. Some of these threads represent opportunities delayed. Some represent relationships that were paused. Some represent blessings stored away. Some represent directions heaven never allowed you to walk into. And some represent promises you once believed were forgotten. But now, every one of these threads begins to vibrate with light. Heaven is reconnecting the pathways that were once dim, reigniting the divine sequences that were paused, and preparing your external world to match your internal awakening. The first external unlocking heaven is preparing involves your opportunities. There are opportunities you were meant to step into long ago, opportunities that were withheld not because you weren't chosen, but because you weren't ready. Heaven needed to refine your discernment, strengthen your confidence, sharpen your intuition, and restore your identity before releasing these openings. Now that your inner world is aligned, these opportunities are about to surface with divine precision. They will appear suddenly, as though out of nowhere, but they were always waiting just beyond the veil. You may be invited into spaces you once thought were beyond your reach, offered roles that match your calling, or given chances that restore your hope in your own destiny. This is the external manifestation of alignment. The second external unlocking heaven is preparing involves your relationships. Heaven is drawing people toward you who carry sincerity, wisdom, spiritual depth, emotional maturity, and divine purpose. These are people who will reinforce your growth rather than challenge your peace. People who will speak life into your spirit rather than drain your energy. People who will recognize your calling rather than diminish your light. You will begin to feel a pull towards certain individuals with an unexplainable sense of familiarity, as though your spirits have known each other far longer than your minds have. At the same time, you will notice certain connections fading away quietly. This is not loss but alignment. Heaven is removing those who cannot walk with the version of you that is emerging. The third external unlocking comes in the form of divine resources. This may appear as financial provision, unexpected support, new streams of favor, or open doors that accelerate your journey. For a long time, you were functioning in survival mode, trying to create stability from empty wells. But alignment attracts provision. When you walk in your divine path, the resources attached to your purpose begin moving toward you rather than away from you. Heaven is releasing the supply that was always meant to fund your calling. You will no longer chase resources. Resources will begin recognizing and gravitating toward the light of your assignment. The fourth external unlocking heaven is preparing involves your environment. Certain spaces that once felt comfortable will begin feeling too small for you. Certain routines will feel restrictive. Certain atmospheres will feel disconnected. This is heaven gently shifting your positioning so your outer world matches the frequency of your inner transformation. You may feel led to explore new environments, new opportunities, new communities, or new directions that align with your spiritual growth. Do not resist this pull. It is the divine GPS guiding you into places where your spirit can expand and your purpose can flourish. Michael now reveals something even more profound. There is a moment approaching in your timeline, an encounter, a conversation, a sudden realization, a breakthrough, or a divine intersection that will serve as the confirmation that your external unlocking has begun. You will know it instantly when it happens. Your spirit will feel it, your mind will process it, and your heart will recognize it as a moment orchestrated by heaven. This moment will change the course of your life in a way that cannot be reversed. It will mark the transition from waiting to walking, from hoping to receiving, from preparation to manifestation. Heaven is preparing to align your circumstances so strongly that what once felt impossible will become natural. You will look back on this season and realize that the delay was not denial. It was divine timing. The detour was not punishment. It was preparation. The stillness was not absence. It was protection. Every step behind you has been a part of a divine sequence, leading to the moment you are approaching now. Michael urges you to remain attentive, anchored, and receptive. Your external world is beginning to shift to match the person you have become within. This shift will happen with such clarity and momentum that even you will struggle to recognize the life you lived before this moment. You have stepped into a chapter where heaven is not only guiding your steps, but preparing the ground you walk on. And now, pause and breathe deeply. The next unfolding will reveal what heaven is preparing to anchor permanently in your life. Foundations that cannot be shaken, blessings that cannot be reversed, and promises that cannot be stolen. Type "My life is aligning outwardly" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 1204 is now released over your external world. My ascending soul, there is a profound shift happening around you as Archangel Michael steps forward carrying a revelation that feels heavier, deeper, and more transformative than anything previously spoken over your journey. Everything within your spirit, everything within your environment, everything within your path is preparing for anchoring. You have been realigned internally, awakened spiritually, strengthened emotionally, and positioned externally. But now heaven moves you into a phase unlike any before it, the phase of permanent establishment. This is where the divine work in your life stops being temporary and becomes foundational. This is the moment where heaven secures the blessings, the clarity, the identity, and the purpose that can no longer be shaken, reversed, or stolen. Michael's presence becomes intensely still, almost reverent, as though even the spiritual realm recognizes the significance of what is about to be released. He begins to show a vision of you standing on a vast piece of land. In previous moments of your journey, this land was barren, waiting, silent, dormant. But now Michael hands you a stake of light, glowing with the authority of heaven. He says, "Plant this. What you anchor now will not be uprooted." As you drive the stake into the ground, the land suddenly awakens, vibrating with color, life, movement, and divine activity. This is the symbol of what heaven is preparing to do in your life. You are not just receiving blessings, you are receiving foundations. Michael begins revealing the first anchoring heaven is establishing, the anchoring of your identity. For years, You lived based on versions of yourself that were shaped by survival, shaped by fear, shaped by other people's expectations, shaped by disappointment, or shaped by confusion. These versions were temporary. They were the product of circumstances, not destiny. But now heaven is anchoring the identity that was written over you before your first breath. You will no longer shift into smaller versions of yourself when challenged. You will no longer feel lost or unstable in who you are. You will no longer allow others to define your worth. Your identity is being sealed in truth, permanent, unshakable, and aligned with heaven's intention for your path. The second anchoring heaven is establishing as your purpose. For so long, your purpose felt like something distant, something just out of reach, something you hoped for but could not fully grasp or articulate. You sensed it. You felt sparks of it. You tasted moments of clarity. But now heaven is grounding your purpose so deeply within you that you will not be able to deny it or drift away from it again. This purpose will guide your decisions, shape your relationships, direct your steps, and give meaning to your experiences. Heaven is anchoring purpose as a compass within your spirit, making it impossible for you to go back to a life that does not align with why you were created. The third anchoring heaven is establishing is your clarity. There was a time when confusion followed you like a shadow, when making decisions felt risky, when finding direction felt heavy, when understanding your next step seemed impossible. But now heaven is solidifying clarity within you. You will see with spiritual precision. You will discern with sharper instincts. You will recognize divine timing with ease. You will know when to step forward, when to pause, when to speak, and when to stay silent. This clarity will not waver the way it once did. It is being anchored as a permanent part of your spiritual architecture. The fourth anchoring heaven is establishing is your emotional stability. The storms you endured once had the power to shake you internally, making you question yourself, doubt your path, or fall into emotional spirals that drained your strength. But now heaven is grounding your emotions in divine balance. You will still feel deeply, but you will no longer be ruled by emotional waves. You will carry peace even in uncertainty. You will hold stillness even in transition. You will maintain balance even when life shifts suddenly. Heaven is anchoring your emotional world, so the storms ahead will not uproot your inner equilibrium. The fifth anchoring heaven is establishing is your spiritual authority. You once underestimated the power you carry. You once silenced your own spiritual instincts. You once believed you were ordinary when heaven had called you extraordinary. But now heaven is anchoring your authority in such a way that you will feel a natural boldness rising within you, an authority that does not need validation, permission, or reassurance. You will speak with clarity. You will move with conviction. You will walk with confidence that comes not from pride, but from alignment with divine truth. This authority is being sealed within your spirit as an undeniable force. Michael shows another vision, you standing on newly awakened ground, and as you take a step, the earth beneath your feet lights up with golden brightness. Every step you take from this moment forward will be divinely supported. You are no longer walking blindly. You are no longer stepping into uncertainty. Heaven has anchored your path, and now each move you make is guided, protected, and reinforced with spiritual strength. Heaven also begins anchoring your relationships. The people who come into your life during this season will be divinely aligned, carrying purpose, truth, and harmony. They will not drain your spirit or distract your purpose. They will walk beside you with sincerity and support. Heaven is removing access from those who once destabilized your path and establishing deep-rooted connections with those who are part of your divine storyline. Your external world will begin to reflect this anchoring. Doors will open with more stability. Opportunities will carry more resonance. Solutions will appear with more ease. You will feel grounded in every decision you make. You will sense heaven supporting your progress. You will experience alignment that manifests not just spiritually but practically. Michael urges you to honor this anchoring by staying fully present. Heaven is finalizing something in your life. What you step into next is irreversible. You are walking into a chapter that will define your legacy and shape the years ahead of you with divine purpose. Pause here and breathe in what your spirit is receiving. The next message will bring everything together and prepare you for the culmination of this divine unfolding. Type "I am anchored in destiny" in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 6610 is now activated over your foundation. My destined soul, the atmosphere around you is trembling with divine completion as Archangel Michael steps forward carrying the final revelation in this sacred unfolding. You have walked through remembrance, alignment, awakening, restoration, transformation, and anchoring. Now heaven brings you to the moment where everything converges, the point where your path, your purpose, your identity, your blessings, and your future stand aligned in perfect spiritual order. This final phase is not simply an ending, it is a coronation. You are standing in the threshold of a life that reflects the truth of who you were always meant to be. Michael's presence feels stronger now than ever, not in warning but in triumph. This moment has been written in your spiritual timeline long before your detour, long before your pain, long before your questions. Heaven has been waiting for the version of you that stands here now. Michael begins to reveal a vision unlike any shown before. You stand on a vast mountain peak, the sky glowing with a brilliance that feels both new and familiar. Below you stretches every path you have walked, every valley, every detour, every moment of confusion, every season of endurance, every quiet victory no one else saw. As you look down, those moments do not appear as failures or obstacles. They appear as stepping stones, aligned perfectly, each forming a part of the divine map that led you to this moment of clarity. Heaven shows you this to remind you that not a single second of your journey was wasted. Every piece has served its purpose. Every tear has watered the ground beneath your destiny. Every setback has strengthened your spiritual legs. Every unanswered question has built your resilience. Nothing was in vain. Then Michael shifts your vision forward. The path ahead of you is bright, expansive, and filled with movement. But this time, you are not walking as someone searching for direction. You are walking as someone carrying divine direction within. The divine GPS is no longer something heaven activates over you. It is a living mechanism inside your spirit. Your instincts have become sharper, your decisions clearer, your emotional world calmer, your identity rooted, your authority awakened. You are no longer stumbling toward purpose. You are stepping into purpose with the confidence of someone chosen, prepared, and spiritually endorsed by heaven itself. Heaven is now releasing the final element of your journey, destiny flow. This is the season where things begin unfolding with divine rhythm, where coincidences reveal themselves as orchestrations, where delays take the shape of preparation, where connections appear right on time, where blessings move swiftly, and where your life begins to reflect your spiritual maturity. You will step into moments that feel like prophecy being fulfilled. You will recognize opportunities that match the blueprint of your soul. You will see signs that confirm your path with such clarity that doubt will have no room to survive. This is not optimism. This is divine design. Michael also reveals that this final phase of your alignment brings you into spiritual influence. Your light will not only guide your steps, but illuminate the paths of others. You will speak words that resonate deeply in the hearts of those struggling silently. You will embody a calm presence that anchors those drowning in uncertainty. You will carry insights, intuitions, and spiritual nudges that help others realign with their own destiny. Your story becomes a roadmap. Your survival becomes a testimony. Your awakening becomes a signal. Heaven is not only elevating your personal journey, but also expanding your spiritual impact. But there is something greater still. Heaven is sealing your path. This means that what once could shift you, distract you, confuse you, or lure you away from your purpose no longer carries any power over you. You are walking with too much clarity now. Too much discernment. Too much identity. Too much alignment. Too much divine reinforcement. The detour is over. The wandering is over. The uncertainty is over. You are anchored in destiny, and your steps forward are protected, guided, and blessed with supernatural precision. Michael speaks one final message over your journey. Beloved, the life you were meant to live is no longer calling from a distance. It is opening before you now. Walk with courage. Walk with conviction. Walk with the certainty that heaven goes before you. These words settle into your spirit like a final seal, quiet, powerful, absolute. You are stepping forward not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to become. Before heaven releases you into the fullness of this unfolding, pause and let your spirit absorb the magnitude of what has been revealed to you. The next steps you take in your life will carry the imprint of everything heaven has established in this journey. Nothing behind you can define you. Everything ahead of you is aligned with purpose. Type "I walk into my destiny" in the comments if this final revelation speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 10,008 is now sealed over your new chapter. Now lift this message into the world. Like, share, comment, hype this video, and subscribe so others can receive the alignment heaven is releasing. As this destiny awakening settles in your spirit, let me speak this with holy truth. When you support this mission, you are helping heaven reach souls who may never find clarity without divine guidance. Your giving becomes a spiritual torch placed in the hands of those wandering through darkness. Scripture declares that when you sow into God's work, He opens the windows of heaven over your life. And today that promise is being spoken directly over you as a living decree. Hear this in first person. Your support empowers me to continue releasing messages that realign broken paths and awaken sleeping destinies. This is not charity, it is prophetic participation, a bold response to the call rising within you. Those who sow into divine alignment receive divine acceleration in return. Stand in obedience, walk in faith, and activate your blessing. Super thanks, membership, and the PayPal link in the description are open for those called to partner with heaven's work.